out on the field. And Brady's finally being told that's it.
If Brady says it's third down, it's still third down. Come on. Oh, God, that was tough to watch, man.
That was horrible, man. That was an ugly game, period.
He was thinking it was third down. You forget that as being one of the downs.
Yeah. That's the game.
Yeah, not the best game. I was actually bored throughout the game from all the penalties, the mistakes, the momentum just stopped. It was just like, I don't know, man. I just wasn't into it. Even, the game sucks. I mean, the result sucks as a Bucs fan, but the game just wasn't even fun to watch.
Yeah, it was one of those little cat and mouse games back and forth. The penalties were terrible. I mean, some of those calls, like that roughing the passer late hit call on Shaq Barrett there at like 4 minutes left, that was terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, he literally hit him. Like, there was hits on Brady earlier in the game just like that they didn't call. But then there was also a bad call that they also some bad calls on the Bears they made too.
Yeah, I think it was just both. I mean, it wouldn't have been an excuse for the Bucs not to win. It was really just I don't understand. I thought the defense played pretty well considering, but the offense, besides the run game, I mean, it's like they miss Godwin. Evans is obviously hurt. They miss Howard. Gronk is like inconsistent, or I can't tell if what's going on with him. It just wasn't it wasn't neat. It looked like it was a Thursday night game after a Sunday.
Yeah, dude, I'll be happy when they get fans back in the stands too. It's just so weird. Like, I think that's part of it.
Well, I think fans can balance out a boring game a bit better because with Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, I'm like, all right, I'm not really into these commentators so much. There's no fans there. And when the game isn't a shootout, where's the energy? Because no one's really celebrating. It's like more just yelling and out of frustration at each other versus celebrating touchdowns, which if you have that kind of celebration without fans, at least it's some sort of energy.
Yeah. Where is he at? Oh,
PFD. PFD's down there.
What did he say? As a Saints fan, I had to be here. Sorry, guys. It was terribly called. Dude, and what was the worst at the end? Vita Vea got carted off.
Mm.
And
yeah, I don't know what's with that. I mean, you saw his ankle get rolled up pretty bad.
Yeah, man.
The good news is that the Bucs have an extra 3 days for whatever injuries to be hashed out, but people are going down. Oh, dude, it's not even like the Bears looked good. It's just like who looked less bad.
Oh, my God. Well, Foles looked terrible in the beginning, and then all of a sudden he comes out of nowhere, starts throwing dimes again, and then, bad calls. Foles
looked fine. I didn't realize this. Nick Foles looks like Ryan Gosling's less attractive rat-looking brother. If Ryan Gosling had a rat-looking brother, that would be Nick Foles. But, he could throw a football.
They're all related. Ryan Gosling, Jared Goff, and Nick Foles. Yeah, man. Evans and Gronk. Gronk got hurt. A win is win. Yeah, you got the win, Brad, but
I would have taken the win too. I would have been happy with just the Bucs escaping and being like, we won, ugly game, move on. But it just didn't look good, especially compared to last week when the offense looked so good.
Yeah, we play the Packers next week.
Oh yeah. Well, at least the Bucs have extra rest or time to prepare as well.
No, we didn't play great. No, you're right. We didn't play great. We had some good running plays, but we also had some bad play. We had some bad plays, man.
And I remember too in the first half, when the Bucs were moving better, it was like the first quarter and a half where the Bucs really controlled it. But it was still just field goals. And I was like, dude, he's threw one touchdown. I think it was 2 field goals, 1 touchdown. I'm like, man, the difference between a field goal and a touchdown is huge. And then the Bears score 2 touchdowns within a minute 12. And then obviously you see that you don't have to be good for longer, but if you're good, even better for a short period, you'll outscore the other team. And so those field goals, it sucked when you can't get touchdowns, or when you go from 1st and 10 to 2nd and 20 to 3rd and 34, something like that, where, I mean, doesn't matter what team you are, you're not going to go far when you can screw yourself up that bad, when it's like penalties on yourself.
Yeah, dude, Brady was heated after that drive. He was pissed. That's the most pissed I've seen him all year.
Yeah.
And
you want to know how many downs he has?
Yeah, no, at the end though, that was hilarious because like, he's like, no, it's not over. This isn't reality. There's no way.
I wonder if they had the sticks. One of the sticks had the 3 instead of the 4, the 2 instead of the 3, something like that. I don't know how he wouldn't know. You just look up at the scoreboard; it should be accurate. But
I wouldn't be surprised, man. Those officials, I mean, dude, they were terrible.
Yeah, I don't know. It is what it is, man. Like, here's the thing: regular season, Thursday night game, banged up. I mean, both teams could be banged up and whatnot. At the end of it, Bucs are 3-2, and you got to move on.
No, but this is a great point right here from Jackson, the gaming god. Dude, where the hell was Scotty Miller? I didn't even see him on the field till the second quarter, and they didn't use him at all. Like, I was like, I like Tyler Johnson. Like, he looked pretty good. He had some good plays. But what the hell? Yeah, where was Scotty Miller? You know? Like, I didn't feel like our offense was really gelling, really fueling. Then you had the 6 penalties in the first half on the O-line and the stupid shit that they were doing.
Yeah, I will say with the offensive line, they looked shaky, and then Chicago really tested them. And I don't know if there's been a game this far in the season for the Bucs where they've had that much pressure on Tom. Which
Mac was on it, and obviously Tom can't scramble. You know,
Mac did this like wrestling move, where like they throw him against the ropes and they put the arm in and they hoist the other guy over. He did that to Tristan Wirfs, I believe, after the sack. It was pretty impressive, to be honest. But yeah, I think it was a good wake-up call for the offensive line that they got to get better because they got to give Brady more time.
Yeah, come on, Wirfs. I mean, he should have been able to handle, but I get it. He's a rookie. Mac is obviously he's a all-pro D-line, but do you think that was a pass interference? That interception, it was the one by Carlton Davis in the beginning of the game.
I would have to see it again. I would have to see it,
man.
But here's the thing: I would have to see it again. But there was nothing obvious. There was nothing like that's obviously a pass interference. I'd have to see it again, but I didn't think to myself, "Damn, we got away with a pass interference." It was more just, "Oh, that's awesome that we got the ball."
Dude, honestly, we should have won that game by 10 points, easy, man. I mean, we had so many opportunities, we had so many missed opportunities, and our defense did give up some big plays, and they gave up some touchdowns and stuff. But we should have won that game, and that was actually that was really stressful. Like you said, that was tough to watch.
It's like your team's not playing very well, and they're tested by, I'd say, an equivalent team based on the score, but also based on the record and everything. And you can't play poorly, especially in key moments, when you're against a team that's as good or a bit better than you. So it was one of those things where one penalty, one of those field goals that would have been a touchdown instead would have been the game. And same thing for the Bears. They would have won by a bigger margin if one of those penalties weren't called on them. It was just ugly. I just didn't enjoy it. One thing I didn't like about Tom Brady is when he passed it off to Keyshawn Vaughn, and Vaughn got lit up by And, they always talk about when you give it to the wide receiver, it's good when you throw it into the ground or you don't set the receiver up to get leveled like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Tom Brady saw Fuller where he was positioned and if Vaughn was going to get lit up by that, but that 3-yard gain turned into a fumble, turned into great field position, and then a touchdown for the Bears. But also, if I would hope that doesn't hurt the relationship between Vaughn and Tom, where Keyshawn Vaughn's not sure if he should trust that Tom Brady will protect him because he's looking at the ball rather than this defender that's going full speed right at him. It was a great hit, though. I mean,
Oh my God, that was a good hit. That was a good no call. But even the ref tried to throw the flag there, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think that's more reactionary.
Was a monster hit, dude. That was probably the biggest hit I've seen all year. You know, a legal hit. Other than that helmet to helmet, that was called. We got but it wasn't many. It was not many. We got 2 sacks, the whole game.
Yeah, you know what? I heard Jason Pierre-Paul's name for the first time all game. And then who else? Who else got a sack? Was it Vita Vea? Did he get one? I think he may have.
It was more I think it was that play. It was like a gang tackle. We had 3 guys on him.
We blitzed a lot, but I will say they picked up the blitz and usually took advantage of us when we blitzed. I didn't see many blitzes work out in our favor.
Our run defense was solid, but they had really good pass protection. And they had, of course, then you had the calls and stuff. Oh my gosh, man! I can't believe we lost that game. Jesus.
I think the disappointing thing is because we lost. I guess whenever your team loses on Thursday Night Football, it just kind of takes the wind out of your sail throughout the whole weekend because you can't watch your team or you don't have your team on. You have your players and your cards and whatnot, but you don't have your team to watch that weekend. So now it's 10 days until the Bucs play again. And if it's against the Packers, that's going to be a tough game, especially for a pass defense that it's hit or miss with our pass defense. We play the run really well, and then we can have an interception, but also allow 380 yards through the air. So it is what it is. It is what it is. But it
is what it is. Just gonna have to go buy some sports cards now.
Yeah, that always makes me feel better.
Brad Nolan. Brad Nolan is hype, man. He bared down, man. He bared down, dude. And hey, it was played in Chicago. I feel a little bit differently if it was here in Tampa, even more so. I had my Brady moment. I thought it was in Tampa at the beginning of the game. And then I'm like, why is Foles in winter gear? And then because I thought you know, and then
that's crazy too. I'm like, what are you guys doing wearing jackets? And not even realizing that it's actually October and it's cold weather or cooler weather in other parts of the country.
Brad kindly reminded me they're in Chicago and it's nice and 60 degrees. I think he said on the lake he was drinking a White Claw or something on a little canoe, catching some trout for his Bears. So what's new, man? I haven't actually talked to you in a little while. You went to his new card shop in LA with
yeah. So if you guys saw, Jeff from Sports Card Investor actually interviewed DJ Ski, which I'm not familiar with the DJ scene, but has a huge following. Him and Steve Aoki invested or co-own this card shop called Coffee Breakers, and it's literally a 25-minute walk from me. I literally can walk there. And then Dan Fleischman, who's one of these marketing guys, I guess he's well known on social media, he's well connected. He actually is marketing for them or owning it as well. But it's a good card shop. It was cool. The vibe was new, but it wasn't hip. It was kind of like bro-y, which I preferred. It was kind of like guys our age hanging out with higher end sports cards. But the place I went on Melrose was way more of a younger hip scene. I wear really baggy pants and crazy sneakers that are ugly, but I think they're cool type of scene. And so I felt a bit overaged and a bit weird there. But at this one, the guys that were there looked like they were 26 to 35. So it was a bit better. But they're going to do breaks there. They have cards. And yeah, I just went in there, introduced myself and said, if you guys ever want to do a live stream or collaborate, here's my station. Just let me know, reach out to me, and I'll be in here from time to time as well. But it's a good thing because, there was always that concern of, is the sports card hobby, is the fad over, is it the trend over? And I think it's just that first wave simmered down. But then with all these record sales, and then with new part shops opening, and then new people getting in, or higher higher wealth or higher budget investors getting in, and well-known people. I think it's just the starting point.
Yeah, it's starting to pick back up. I feel like it's starting to pick back up. We definitely, I mean, you saw like all these alpha guys, like besides, most of the QBs that continue to perform well, they're kind of like slowly still climbing, but we saw like a lot of wide receiver, running back, tight ends start to drop. Yeah, that's funny.
I'm looking at his comments here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do know that. Is the temperature?
Brady equals crybaby. Oh man, we must another Bears fan in the chat. That's all good. It's okay.
They all cry. They all bitch, and you have to complain. I like the idea of Brady yelling at the team members, not at the refs or other people, but at his own offensive.
Yeah, we needed that. We needed that, man.
Yeah, because they'll also respect him and look up to him, because he's the only one that's won 6 Super Bowls and is considered the greatest player ever by many people. Yeah, Brad, I know that the place, it's literally across the street where it's the sneaker store, and I don't know what the fuck a Yeezy is. I think of sneeze when I see that, so sneeze, a Yeezy. So no, I'll wear my Banana Republic. I like Banana Republic, and they're 40% off sale. That's my vibe.
Gaming guy, new sheets. I switched it up, so I sent out new sheets last Wednesday, but I kind of had to slow down so I could speed up, and it's been a huge researching and discovery phase here recently for me, and so now I'm starting to speed back up. Dude, what is the new sheets that are coming out are going to be really good, and it's really based on dynasty fantasy football data analysis, because what I've found is there is a ton of really good information from dynasty leagues, and just dynasty rankings overall are giving us really good information on who to invest in football. So I want to correlate the dynasty analytics with rookie card prices and see what we get. But those are coming out this weekend, so I appreciate you being patient with me, brother.
All right, let me ask you, from 4 weeks of football, or is it what? This was with 3 and 2, I guess almost 5 weeks. What's been the biggest surprise investment-wise, biggest flop and biggest positive, the biggest one you've seen this far?
The biggest flop?
Yeah,
I mean, it's not so much a flop. I guess it's not so much a flop, but it's like, man, he's not helping out his kid. Well, it's these old guys. I mean, the biggest flop is these old guys. Like, I don't know if it's a COVID and the lack of, off-season conditioning, and maybe they need more discipline because they're older and they require more regimented diet and exercise and training. But it's these old guys. I mean, I'm talking AJ Green. I'm talking Drew Brees. I'm talking Tom Brady. These older guys that are really, really dusty here.
Wait, what about Big Ben, though? Isn't he playing really well?
Okay, yeah, you could say he's playing okay. He looked pretty good through the first couple games. Not bad.
All right. Well, so who's the biggest surprise or breakout player that was not on anyone's radar thus far? So this guy was on a lot of people's radar, but he was ranked 32 last year in deep ball accuracy, and that's Josh Allen. And he has absolutely done a 180 this year. His accuracy has improved leaps and bounds, and he's really he's giving, he's up there with Russell Wilson right now for, making an MVP run here in 2020. If he continues playing the way he is, and the Buffalo's undefeated right now. And so, I mean, that to me is a huge surprise just from a numbers standpoint. Like, Russell Wilson was extremely accurate in college. He's been extremely accurate throughout his career. It's just a matter of him getting more opportunities on the field. But Josh Allen was not accurate, and he was not accurate in the red zone. He was 32nd in the bottom of the league last year. And so
total 180 from him. And I think that's a lot to do with play calling in Buffalo. They've been calling a lot more play action passes. They've been putting him in better scenarios. It certainly helps when you have Stephon Diggs too. And but huge improvement there. Huge improvement there.
Okay, so question, is there a learning lesson with that? As in, if you can go back and say, all right, you weren't accurate last year, and how could you predict a player having that potential? Is it because I don't know Buffalo's system. Was it a new system this year? Was there anything changing in terms of their coaches or something to hint at him having a turnaround season besides just going strictly off of last year's performance and whoever they get in the draft or free agency?
I mean, it's honestly, it's a lot of planning, strategic planning, and hard work. I mean, and you look at another team like the Houston Texans, Bill O'Brien, first head coach fired this year, but Deshaun Watson is a really good athlete, excellent quarterback, but terrible coaching system, and they haven't won a single game. You know.
Okay. So hold on. With that, now with the new coach, who's he? Romeo Crennel? Was he?
Yeah, it's like the interim. Yeah, the interim coach.
He was the coach for many years of I forgot what team. Browns. Was he something like that? Wasn't he the coach of the Browns for a while? But anyway, so with that, Deshaun Watson, does he make sense as a good pickup? Because I'm sure his cards would have plummeted, and now it's like, do you have more faith that it can be turned around there for any reason? Like, are the pieces there, or is it just like it's beyond the coach? It's really just the players and everything else.
I think the Texans will win this weekend. I think it's funny we see head coaches get fired like this. Why? I would not be surprised if the Texans come out and have a really good game this weekend, and Deshaun Watson, Will Fuller, Brandon Cooks, I could see blow up spot here for him. I would not be surprised if the Texans come out and smash this weekend.
Okay.
And a lot of that is like, you know, they're kind of like the shackles have been taken off of them from Bill O'Brien. I mean, there was even a story, a couple articles about how J.J. Watt was yelling at Bill O'Brien in practice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when I saw that, I was like, okay, it's the coach and the culture and whatever his style is that is getting under the skin of more than just the quarterback or offense. Now we're talking about the whole team doesn't like this dude.
Yeah, this is what I'm worried about. Like if I had more Josh Allen rookie, I only have a couple base Donruss left on Star Stock that are selling around $30. But if I had more left, like I'd be really, because their schedule is going to get a lot more difficult the second half of the season. And I mean, just the pace that he's been playing, like his profile, his history is not Russell Wilson. So it's hard for me to think that Josh Allen can keep this up. Maybe he can if they continue to play the way they are. But I mean, that's a good point. Like if I had more Josh Allen graded cards and more rare and prism and more premium of it, rookie cards of him, I'd be looking to like sell them.
Yeah.
I was from an investment standpoint.
Well, even if you're into basketball, Tyler Hero's the guy for the Miami Heat, the hot rookie that's his cards have gone through the roof. But the longer the streak lasts, the sooner it is to ending for anyone, but especially someone that hasn't had the resume or hasn't proven it over the years. I mean, like I'll have more faith in Russell Wilson having a streak, and his Russell Wilson streak can end before Josh Allen's, but I would take the chances on Russell Wilson a lot more because I know he's going to rebound and he's proven himself over the years. So whether it like Josh Allen outplays Russell Wilson this year, I'll take the odds every time versus going all in on Josh Allen, which, I mean, who knows? You get like one or two injuries on the Bills that derails everything, and all of a sudden he can look average for a few weeks.
Yeah, for sure. Like if you were to lose Stephon Diggs, you know, that kind of thing. But I mean, I don't know the Bills' schedule. If you look at the schedule, I mean, they could win out the next 4 or 5 games. I would still hold on to them for another month or I would hold on to them till, because they're definitely going to probably make the playoffs, but you want to sell it on that. Don't forget, JJ Bama, you want to sell it on that hype. Don't try and list it after a game. You want to sell it before a game. That's when it peaks.
Yeah, if there's a lesson I've learned, and it was really throughout basketballs and football, is literally the hype means more than the merit. Like literally the possibility of doing great, people will pay more for that than when they actually do great. That's just what it seems like, because even in just NBA, the guys that are in the playoffs, I know you don't watch NBA, so I'll break it down real simple. The guys in the NBA, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, the ones that people are like, they can make it to the finals and win it all, their cards aren't even as high as what they were when people were thinking that could be the case back in August. So going forward, when the hype is the highest is when I will sell. And even if that player has a record performance in that game, I would still take that risk every time, or I still won't take that risk. I'll still sell at the hype, and just whatever happens in the game happens. But I want to get out and move on before even taking that chance.
Yeah, man, for sure. And this is crazy. Thanks for doing this research, Carter, because the fact that Josh Allen's PSA 10 is selling roughly $200 more than Deshaun Watson's right now, that is crazy. Yeah. That's crazy. So, I mean, yeah, why not? Don't get greedy. Sell it now, before anything bad happens. Long-term, what current rookie cards do you think are long-term holds? There's a lot of guys I'm looking at right now at 2020 rookies. Certainly, yeah, Justin Herbert. He's looking really good through his first few games. But guys, I have a sneaky feeling, and I hate to wish anybody get hurt, but the Eagles have looked terrible, and it's only, in my opinion, a matter of time before Carson Wentz gets hurt, and because he's trying to do too much out there, and he's trying to push too hard, and it's not there, and the dude's going to end up getting hurt because he's pretty fragile as it is. And then you got a Jalen Hurts protege from Alabama as a starting quarterback there, and you could probably get his cards really cheap right now. So that's someone that I'm buying right now. Yeah.
Okay, so what's out though? Sure. So Donruss is out though. Donruss is out, but Prism and Optic don't come out for another month or so, right? Yeah. I have to check the calendar, but I know they're not out yet. Correct?
I have to check the prices on Mosaic, but I actually bought I bought 3 Joe Burrow Mosaic base rookie cards. I haven't even opened them yet. Hopefully they're in good condition. But actually, I'll go ahead and open one right now to see how it is. But I bought these for $20.
Okay,
$20 each. And this is my first. I had to get. This is Carter's boy. That's a great looking card. Well, this is the NFL debut one. So I guess this is.
Okay. So that's like the insert rookie card.
No, but I bought a lot. Maybe there's another one in here because I bought a lot.
What's up, Al?
I think I got this one for $10. Wait a minute. No, I did. I paid $20 for this one. See, I should have done better research on the Mosaic. And then I noticed that there's 2 variations, and that this one is not this is considered an insert.
It's like it'll say RC though, right? Yeah, bottom left it says RC.
It says RC on the bottom right, but this is an insert, and then this one should be the actual base one.
That insert you got, I have about 15 or 20 of those of Zion, and I bought those on Comp C because they were down to $7 or $8 each, but they had peaked at $32, $33 back in August, and the discount was so big, and his regular rookie card of Mosaic was roughly $40 and up, and I have a few of those, but it's a bit interesting where it says RC, but it's still an insert. But I don't really know what to think of Mosaic because
I know it's tough, dude.
it's like so new, and I like Mosaic. I personally like it. It's just a matter of I wonder if it's just one of those things where people latch onto it because Prism and Optic aren't out, and that's a good point. Where if the second Prism's out, do people drop Mosaic because those prices really soared and then really plummeted as well?
There you go. So, but I got this one for $20 too. So, like, I wised up and I found a lot that a guy was selling both of them in the same lot, the NFL debut and the base one. And I know it's hard to see with the light, but
yeah. And then
yeah, I got these
see
a lot. Like, you cannot go wrong. I mean, dude, this guy is a generational player, and you can see he throws the ball a lot and with good accuracy. And he makes good decisions, and he's got good legs. And I was watching him mic'd up for this past weekend. I mean, dude's a super nice guy. You know how the way he talks to the refs and his team and everything. And they already,
that'll change when they allow the defense to sack him 6 times and the wide receivers drop the ball and run the wrong routes.
Oh, dude, he's getting hit a lot. Skill positions that I'm buying now that I'm holding long-term, rookies, CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb's a stud. Justin Jefferson, Carter's boy there in Minnesota, he's a stud. I'm buying him, hold long-term. Those are just a couple off the top of my head. I mean, there's a few guys, and that's, a next video that I'm kind of working on is using the dynasty rankings to see. But then it comes down to the card set that we're targeting. Are we waiting for Prism? I kind of want to save up my money and get in on some Prism breaks after talking to Michael Ham.
Yeah,
last week.
I see some really good comments here.
What do we got?
About the Mosaic insert not being – it's not an insert. It's just another variation they put in. I don't even know the right way to verbalize it. But
well, I haven't sent an email to StarStock yet, but if they don't accept it, that
would suck. You got to go on eBay.
I'll send it in to get graded, but these look really good. The one thing I will say about these Mosaics, they look like they could be an easier grade because there's no border around the card.
Yeah, nothing obvious to throw the centering off.
Yeah, the only thing I've heard about them is that they get Michael Ham was telling me they get surface blemishes very easy. But these look to be handled very well. Like the corners look really crisp, and this looks good just at that price. I mean, if you look at the top quarterbacks of today, I mean, at some point in the future, I do believe that Joe Burrow is going to be at that Russell Wilson level. So if you look at the value of all of his car, I mean, even his Topps Magic that I've sent JJ Bama as he won the giveaway is worth like $25-30. I mean, look at even the college uniform of Tom Brady or some of these other guys. Those rookie cards have tremendous value.
Yeah. I mean, if you can't get the main ones for thousands and thousands of dollars, then it's got to trickle somewhere. I'd rather have Tom Brady's college uni rookie card than a lot of his other cards, but it's not going to be worth nothing. It'll just be it'll go up with the prices of the other cards. It's interesting though, with so many people, I feel like so many people buy Prism, invest in Prism, and still consider Prism number one only because other people do, not because they actually like it. And I feel like the more I learn about the hobby and the more I talk to other people, it's pretty much, okay, you get in, you learn about Prism, and that's where you start. And then you go, hold on, and then you go, all right, hold on a second, what other sets are out there? It's more like the starter set just because it's so common. But I feel like, yeah, the others, Optic, Select, Mosaic, the difference in price and values are going to be so blatantly obvious that I feel like people go, all right, let me go with Select. It's a lower print run. It's a good looking card. Let me go with Optic. It's way less, and I like the card more. Let's go with Mosaic. It's new. I like it more. And I feel like after 6 months of being in the hobby, whoever it is, at that point of studying the hobby and learning and just getting used to everything, you come to that realization of, okay, I might not like Prism #1. I might actually find better value somewhere else, but I got to start off with what's the most common and what's the hottest set, because that's important if you're investing at first. You don't want some random sets that no one cares about.
Dude, are you part lizard, man? Because you healed really quick. I mean, you like only got one Band-Aid left.
There's like a bit of red here. The light's blowing it out right now, but I got some Band-Aids here.
Dear God.
A little Band-Aid. I mean, it looked bad, but I think the bruising just it kind of it lasts a few days and then goes, so it's not so bad.
So Brad Nolan just said that he knows they do accept debut. That's fantastic. That's awesome. Why not? I'll buy more Joe Burrow NFL debut. Another point about the Mosaic real quick before we move on to this comment from Carter is that this is the first year Mosaic. Even if it doesn't stick around, I think we'll always have kind of that it's just that memory that Mosaic was that set from Panini that was super hot during COVID and the gold rush of 2020 for sports cards, kind of thing.
It's the COVID baby. It's like the war baby. It's the COVID baby. I think
COVID sports card baby.
With Mosaic, and that was a theory I had, and that's why I was buying a lot of Luka Doncic Mosaic base cards, because I was trying to kill two birds with one stone, where it's like if you can get a Tom Brady first-year Mosaic for $3 base, or like $25 silver, then it's the first-year Mosaic. It's the first year in a Bucs uniform. If he wins a Super Bowl, that could be a thing. I'm not going to buy those now. I'll wait for them to go down or just not get them at all. But if it's the first-year Mosaic and it's like a second-year card of a player, or it's something else, then I really like that that two birds with one stone, and that's what it is for Luka. Because I mean, I have to convert it over to basketball just because that's what I've been doing with Mosaic. Is Luka Doncic's second-year Prism is $20 and on up, but his second-year, first-year Mosaic, second-year card overall of that is $7. And so I'm like, well, it's a first-year Mosaic, a second-year card. If Mosaic doesn't do much, it's still a second-year card. If it does do really well, if people really latch on to first-year Mosaic, it's also a second-year card and first-year Mosaic. That's two birds with one stone. So it's just a bit of an interesting thought. Yeah. But I don't know about Mosaic long-term. I just know that people do like it. I think Prism is just overhyped. I think people get in loving Prism only because that's what you're taught to love, not because you actually prefer it yourself and you're just going along with what everyone else is buying and doing. And then now after a while you learn, there's some potential in other sets.
No, you're right, man. I wish it said Prism on it, honestly. I don't know. It's something about the Prism. I do like Prism. Like, I like this design. I wish that they had this design, because the 2020 Prism looks terrible in my opinion. Like, I wish they had. Yeah, I like the 2014 Prism a lot. I think that set is awesome, and I saw a lot of you guys commented, and I really find a lot of value from seeing which design you guys like, and it seems a big consensus is 2014 Prism, and I like 2014 Prism a lot too. I wish they had this design with the Prism logo, would be awesome. And I don't know, Carter. Leonard Fournette, when he comes back, you're right. Ronald Jones actually caught the ball tonight and was really surprised. He made some pretty good catches.
Well, the refs were so surprised that they ruled it an incomplete pass. And they were like,
"Oh, Ronald Jones can't catch the ball." And they're like, "There's no way he caught that."
And then Ronald Jones was like, "Yeah, you're right. I didn't catch it." And then someone else had to challenge. I don't even think Ronald Jones thought he caught the ball because everyone seemed like, okay, yeah, we're going to go on. He dropped it. And then Arians threw the flag. I don't know who said, "Hey, Ronald, hold on a second. You actually caught it this time."
What?
And then they challenged it, and he actually caught it. It was a good catch. But it's funny because if he had the reputation of actually catching the ball, that probably would have been a touchdown. Because the refs would have been like, he's not touched, he's in. They would have blown the whistle when he's in versus at the 2.
How old is Leonard Fournette now? He's like, I think he was he's like 26, maybe 20, 25, 26.
I'd have to check his rookie,
And
but I would imagine 16, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. And I think 26 seems to be like the new 30 in the NFL. But
dude, 2017 was his rookie year, so 22.
Oh, you want me to show what the new prism looks like? It looks terrible. I think that's a safe investment. I mean, dude, you got a PSA 10. You showed me that card too. A PSA 10 autographed jersey patch. Now it is a Spectra. It was a Panini Spectra, and I think that's what he's worried about. But he only paid $50, and it's a PSA 10 RPA autograph, chunky patch.
I would say just ride it out for hopefully a playoff run.
Yeah.
And, I mean, okay, there's 3 backs. LaShawn McCoy is injured. Ronald Jones.
He's done too.
Ronald Jones he hasn't proven to me he can catch the ball consistently. Did he have a drop or 2 tonight?
Dude, he had a ton of drops. He's like got the most drops before tonight. Okay. I think he had 1 drop early on.
Yeah.
But he did make some good catches.
Because I want to say Joe Buck and the others were saying he had so many drops.
He had some tough catches. He also had some explosive runs tonight. But the thing is, that same run where he busted through the middle of the field and had like a 35-yard run, Leonard Fournette would have taken that to the house. Fournette would have taken that to the house.
I mean, I will say this. I saw some good moves from him. I saw some spin moves and some good running. But it's hard to compare because you don't have another running back like Leonard Fournette getting those same carries with the line creating the same holes to be able to compare one running back versus the other. Because if Leonard Fournette gets most of the touches against the Packers, but they stuff the box or they're just really good against the run next week, it'll make him look bad, but you never get the apples to apples comparison because you have no idea because every situation, every play is different. The only thing with Leonard Fournette or any running back, which I don't like running backs just because you're at the mercy of the play call, the line. Like it feels like I'd rather invest in the running back that just has an amazing offensive line than the one that's good on their own. Just because, what are you going to do without great protection?
There's your 2020 prism.
I'm not. You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of that Topps Chrome year that I don't like, but I think you do like 2014 or something like that, where I didn't like the Topps Chrome where it had a very robotic metal outside, but to me that I don't really care for it. Doesn't do much. So what does 2020 Select? I guess that's not out yet.
I kind of like that. No, you know what's freaking crazy? And because, obviously Carter covers LSU football, and so he's been eyeballing these Joe Burrow Select rookie cards in his Bengal uniform. It's a 2019 Select. This blows my mind. I don't – Select has already been released for 2020, but they call it a 2019. It's the weirdest thing. It doesn't make sense to me.
I'm on ComC now looking at 2020. Here's a Joe Burrow. I'm looking on 2020. It's in his LSU uniform, a 2020. Oh, that's Panini Chronicles.
Check this. I'm going to go to eBay and show you what card, and you can see.
Okay, because it's under Chronicles. It's under Chronicles, not it's Select, but it's under Chronicles. It's a very crazy looking card, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a crazy looking card. There's also some really rare ones that. All right, check this card. Yeah, here's the one. This is probably, I know Carter's watching this one. So add to stream. Let's see.
Yeah, maybe it's an accurate preview. It's very, I don't know, colorful and regal looking.
But what?
Yeah, show me that.
He's a 2020 rookie, but this is a 2019 select that's already been graded. Look at the 2019 on it, and you can see it's a 2019 select with a 2020 rookie in his pro uniform.
I have no clue. That's just confusing.
Right? Isn't that weird?
Time travel does exist in sports cards.
That's so weird to me, dude. It just
if anyone can explain that, that'd be great.
Where's Ziggy know when you need him?
Yeah, Ziggy, help us out. But if you look at the 2020, there's 2020 Joe Burrow in LSU uniform under the Chronicles. It'll be select, but it's under Chronicles. And someone explained to me what the hell Chronicles is. Because I don't break boxes or anything like that. I look at singles. And what I heard was Chronicles is like a hodgepodge of different sets thrown in there. I'm like, what is this, like a pot of gumbo? So I don't really understand what that is. Pot of gumbo. I don't know. But I like Select more, man. You know, I'm a Select guy.
I like Select too, man.
Well,
I like Select too. I like that Field Club.
By the way, guys, if in the chat, this upcoming Tuesday, I'm doing my Cards and Cake live stream with Tyler and Ziggy. And Tyler is of Market Movers. He's a staff member of Sports Card Investor. And we're going to be talking about the updates to Market Movers and that. But me and Tyler were actually talking on the phone about Select. And what's funny is that he was saying, in this upcoming video Jeff's doing, he's going to be opening a box of Select, and how a lot of the guys are talking about Select a lot more because it was hobby only, and the print runs should be a fraction of Prism. So it's just always something to think about, whether it's football or another sport, where at the end of the day, when you see these numbers of Prism this, but then the PSA pop report is 8,000, or the print, and it gives you an idea of what the print run would be. Well, if the demand could be pretty high, but if the supply is insane, then it's not going to mean that people will pay that much if there's so many available, while the demand can be lower for another card. But if the supply of it is super low, then it'll still command a higher price. So that's something I like to study and look into.
Yeah, no, that's fascinating. Like that's a good
jumble of garbage. There we go. Jumble of garbage. Gumbo of garbage. Garbage gumbo.
A gumbo of garbage. Like how do we know they didn't just print the shit out of these mosaic, 2020 mosaics?
They probably did, but I think that's the thing that scares me the most about these newer cards is we don't have the print runs, but what we do have are the pop reports of the PSA and then the others. So in 2 years, when I could look back and see that there are 3,000 Joe Burrows graded PSA 10 and 6,000 PSA 9 of Prism, but there's only 600 PSA 10s of Mosaic and 1,000 PSA 9s, then all of a sudden, what are you doing playing with the screen like that, man? You're confusing me. But then we have an idea of, okay, well, if there's 3 times the pop report of Prism than Mosaic, maybe not 3 times the amount of cards of Prism were sent in, but it should be a rough estimate, because if the values are still somewhat similar, or at least over a certain threshold, you would imagine those people would grade the cards. And it's not like people are going to destroy way more mosaics than the Prisms. People are taking good care of cards now, or as they should. So that's like the rough idea of going around the print runs is you won't tell us how many cards you print, but PSA tells me how many they've processed. And if it's a $20 rookie card of Mosaic and it's a $50 rookie card of Prism, I would still assume that most $20 rookie cards of Mosaic are going to be graded, and pretty much all of them that have that potential of Prism will be graded. So seeing that big of a difference is like trying to solve the puzzle of how many are out there.
Yeah, and I saw that. I know a lot of people have been talking about, because PSA did away with their economy rate and they're so backed up, and we're all trying to build PSA grading machines in our garage. I've actually, I've stopped working out. I'm converting my power cage into a PSA full I've got a whole shipment of fresh I told you, PSA warehouse in Tampa. Well, that's actually my garage.
Perfect. I want in on this operation. I'll give you your first order. I just need all 10s. I'll slip you a nice Lincoln.
All right, man. Sounds like a deal.
I like the way you operate. This is perfect.
Yeah, I got some premium plastic coming in from China. Finally, opened up the borders there. It's premium plastic. I got the barcodes being printed out. No, I'm just joking. Totally joking.
Oh yeah, dude. If you want to start a grading company, that's great, man. We already have the platform, guys. You get the best deal. We'll give you all 10s. We just need some good reviews.
My grading is very lenient. Everybody gets a 10. Boom,
yeah.
Slap it in a 10.
I'm like that teacher that's like, you get an A. You tried your best. Yeah, here's an A. Here, the one that it's like later in life you're screwed because you were a baby the whole time. But I'm that teacher that's like, you know what? Here's an A. Here's a 95%. That's perfect.
Then one kid actually comes back and it's like, it's got a white corner on it. Oh, give me that. Let me see. And you take a Sharpie and let's put it's a 9. Okay, here, you got a 9.
That's it. I see JJ Bama is asking about a specific Kobe card. And
okay.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's not football related, but I do want to pull up this card for him in a second. So if you want to move on to something else, and the reason is because I was actually looking up cards on Market Movers that have dropped the most, and one of them was a Kobe Bryant finest rookie that was dirt. It was just so effing low for where it was and where I think it should be or will be long term. So I'll look up that card for you because when you mention a certain price, I need to look up. I need to look up the math. Or I'm just guessing. I don't want to be guessing, but
no, totally. It's funny, dude. We get talking about sports cards, and like my spirits are totally lifted. Like I was, really bummed out about that game, but like I feel good now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the whole
think
point.
about it again. And I'm like, that game was just retarded, but.
Yeah, this is funny. I had Vegas Finds on Chris on Tuesday, and he had applied to become a grader at PSA. So everyone be extra nice to Chris, a.k.a. Vegas Finds 777, just because he might actually be a PSA grader. Okay, let me share the screen because this is a question from JJ, and I would rather just show you what I see, and this is something I do on the weekends on Saturday mornings.
I guess it's a good time for me to eat a cookie then.
Yeah, there you go, man. Cards and cookies. So let's see here. Movement cards, popular card charts. I forgot if it's this one or the other one. Okay. Can you see that all right?
Are you asking me? Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, perfect. So this is your Kobe PSA 9 in tops. Last price, yeah, 420. Like, look, I think overall, if you can get it for 425, the last sale was 448, and this is where it was at. Even if this is the peak, we're at like July prices. I don't think Kobe's going down overall. So maybe it goes down to 400, maybe 380, but I believe it'll go up a lot sooner than going down. That's my opinion. Yeah, dude, I think that's the exciting thing, man, is there's a lot of let me see, stop screen. There we go. Yeah, there's a lot of deals to be had. All over right now. Yeah, dude, I was eating so many waffles during that game, just waffles and almond butter and ice cream and honey, and just trying to feel better, get those dopamine rushes any way I can.
It was almost like a dopamine detox watching that game.
Dude,
it really was. Like you had to be. I'm sure that they had a big viewership drop off there. It's somewhere in the second quarter.
I think it's sloppy play. It's just you want more offense than that, or even if there's defense, you want more sacks, more interceptions, more fumbles, and there was some good defensive play, but the penalties, like no one likes watching penalties and then just sloppy play. I think that's it. It's just hard to watch sloppy play and be excited.
I'm going to share my screen in just a second. JJ Bama is very worried about all the markets.
I mean, yeah, I mean, this is a pretty crazy time right now. I think I'd be more worried about the sports card market if it was already at its peak and not on the way up overall in the culture. Like if this is how it was for the last 3 years and now we go through everything, I'd be more worried. But because it's growing so much, I think that will offset whatever's going on in the economy and globally. So I feel like it could be like a good counterbalance where it'll grow regardless. But if everything was perfect, it would grow faster, but I don't think it's going to die off. The immature or short-term flippers or people that just don't know what they're doing, they're just going to be in and out. But I think with the big investors, the institutional money, the people that are dropping big money on the big cards, that's going to trickle down, and that's going to become more of a normal thing. But maybe I'm just optimistic. What do you got there?
Well, I was just noticing that I had sent in a bunch of Kareem Hunt select rookie cards there, the concourse, and they all came back as Bs. But somebody bought one at $2, but someone didn't buy an A. I guess they put in an offer, but they didn't feel comfortable buying it at $9, which is not terrible, but just looking at like those are the only cards that I've really sold this week were. Oh, that's what I'm watching. I was gonna.
Whoa. No one buy Andy's Herbert.
No. So I sold this Kareem Hunt hollow optic for $25, which was really nice. And then, of course, I'm always selling out A-Robs. So hey, and he played well again tonight. I mean, this dude's gonna probably be in the Hall of Fame one day. I mean, he's a stud. He's alpha. But you see, like, I have 9 of these left, A's and 11 B's, and there's one. So this is a perfect example of how the market has cooled off because, well, not as good as the example I was thinking. But
let's just scratch it. Everyone forget the last 30 seconds.
Well, no, I mean, because I wanted to show you a better chart. But you can see that his performance has not declined and the card value has definitely gone down. You can see this right here. It just wasn't as many data points as I thought going back to the beginning of the season. But you can see how it's definitely like you would think for someone that continues to perform well on a team that's now 4-1, his card would, go up. And he's clearly the alpha. Like there's a big target consolidation there to A-Rob. You see it. You see it again tonight. Doesn't matter who's the quarterback. And
Rat Boy Gosling.
I didn't sell any of these tonight, and there weren't any good offers in.
Yeah, I wonder if it's just going to be more of like you've got to have 180-yard receiving, or you can't have a good game for these prices. It needs to be either you're a nobody that has 120 yards rushing or receiving, or if you're already established and have these prices, you need to be having a 200-yard game and 3 touchdowns and making player of the week type stats for it to go up. Or it's just a matter of it needs to get closer to the playoffs because we're seeing a lot of injuries. Yeah, I see JJ mentioning COVID. I hope to God COVID does not cancel football season. I don't think it will. I think it's a scare and it'll be something that they have to address. But the amount of money that's involved, it's one of those things where it's like, guys, we have a bubble, have some sort of bubble for 2 months. Other sports have done it for longer. And now that we're 5 weeks in, I know it's a lot of players, a lot of movement, but there's just too much money involved to cancel a season if it's at all possible to revive it or keep it going. And yeah, I think that's how they did it with college football. It's just too much money, too much sponsorships and TV deals and whatnot, too much revenue for the colleges, the big name ones at least, to cancel it even if it's not a popular choice among a lot of people.
Yeah, and from I mean, and I'm like you, Brad. I'm trying to stay positive about it. and cross that bridge if and when we come to it. But right now we still got football, so I'm going to still keep doing what I'm doing. But the thing, I think that a lot of people thought this year, including myself, thought this year would be a lot different than past years. And it's been a little different, but now it's kind of going back to more of the norm from previous years, just with a few more of us in the hobby and a few new platforms like StarStock. But what I've seen, like you can look at the quarterbacks. The quarterbacks have still retained a really good value. Like if you look at here, let's go to my watch, because we had this huge spike in all these skill positions at the beginning of the season, but now they've all, even the guys that continue to produce and perform week in, week out, have gone down. They've gone down. Mm-hmm. And the only people that have really gone up are the quarterbacks and guys that have emerged with a starting role that have really exploded. Like Kareem Hunt there, and now Nick Chubb's hurt. But, yeah, look at this. Like, this is a StarStock B with the lowest listing of 40, and this card just keeps climbing. This Mosaic Justin Herbert. And that's and so it's like there's only one on here.
Is that a college jersey or is that his pro? I can't see.
No, it's a Chargers.
Okay, there we go. All right.
But my point is that all the other cards have cooled off except for quarterbacks, and it's kind of gone back to a little bit of the norm, but with a little bit of elevated interest in the skill positions and a little bit of, you got new platforms. You got some new platforms. Hold on, I got to look at my computer.
I wouldn't even think of it as things have cooled off, more as things were so overly high that it's gone down to a reasonable level where it shouldn't have gone to the point where it was in August, because August was hype at its highest for everything. And then it's like the more a card goes up in value, the more you get that rush of, do I buy now? Because it could be worth more next week, and then next week, and next week. And then we just saw it go down. And then, of course, injuries and underperformance has a huge.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy for us to think that we could sustain that.
Well, I mean,
rate of growth,
you can't sustain it long term. Well, I mean, look, I don't know how long it's sustainable. No one does. It's just one of those things where it goes up, and people are like, "Well, it's been like this for 2 weeks. Well, why not for 3 weeks? Well, why not for a month? Well, why not for 2 months?" And it's not sustainable, but you just don't know when it'll end. When enough people will say, "This is ridiculous. I got to move on. I got to hold," or something. And we all saw that. If you look at all the charts, it seems like first week of September, last week of August, everything cooled off. And that could have just been when football started and you realize the hype is gone, because now people have got to actually play. And that's what it really is based off of.
Yeah.
What's that?
All right, you can see, I mean, this is Russell Wilson's. So this one right here is the A's, the ungraded. Well, actually, these ungradeds, they're pulling in from eBay. And this is a question I would love to ask Scott when I get him on here in the future. You know who else I heard talking about cards is one of my guys from Roto Underworld Radio, from Player Profiler. Nate Bliss, the Outraged Jew.
Ah, of course, the Outraged Jew. I thought that was me.
He was talking about cards, and the other guys are like, "Oh yeah, we used to have." And so these are, professional fantasy football analysts, and they were talking about fantasy football, and he was talking about how he bought a DJ Moore autographed rookie card for $25, and he was asking the other guys if they were looking at cards or buying any cards, and they were not, but they had heard about like people getting into it, and they all said that they had collected cards when they were a kid, and they're all about our age. So it's like, I feel like we're on the cusp of really getting a lot of, market share and really growing the hobby and pushing the market forward. But at the same time, these guys are like, well, we've got so much going on in fantasy and during the season with the injuries and everything going on during the season with fantasy football. From their perspective, I mean, they talk. I do one sheet a week, but they do podcasts every day, and they really are. They're the ones like pulling all that data together and then discussing it, and they're making a living playing daily fantasy football, season-long fantasy football, dynasty fantasy football, best ball fantasy football. There's a plethora of different fantasy football platforms that they're making money on, so they don't really have time to get into cards per se. But I think it's right there. It's on the cusp of breaking through mainstream.
But they might not have the time. But if people that are in their audience are asking, then it's up to them to consider creating the content or bringing someone else on, because it is so tied together. And I mean, it just makes sense if you have the knowledge of fantasy, that if you just learn a bit about cards and you know which ones to buy of the players you believe the most in, and you're like, okay, so this is the card. This is what I want to look at. I really believe in this player. Okay, I got $2,000 on this player. I'll buy it now in the off season while you're doing all your research. I'll buy it now. I'll do that. It doesn't have to be so intense, but I feel like
great about StarStock. That's what's great about StarStock, and that's why I'm reached out to him, and hopefully I can talk to him, and it'd be great to have him on, because I feel like he was definitely into cards, and so. But he was talking about buying off of eBay and how difficult it was. They were talking about how difficult it is to take physical possession of the card and having like a card shop and this and that. They don't realize that there's a platform like StarStock.
Yeah,
that
people are getting in. It's just the height at which the individual cards had gone. That wasn't sustainable. But more people are getting in, and now. I bet the amount of volume and money in the industry overall is higher, even if the individual cards aren't near their record highs, except for the ones going to auction that are 1 of 1, 1 of 5, those super rare cards. But besides that, I'm hearing about a lot of people getting in, not out. But hopefully it's just a lot more sustainable of a process rather than this just like gold rush and just flipping every day, every week without any foundation, any research, any like principles behind it. So I'm not worried at all.
It got pretty crazy there for a minute.
It was fun, man. August was great. Fun. I was selling like crazy. But in my last video, I sold more in September than I did in August in terms of profit, which was weird.
Yeah, September was fire for me. September was my biggest month too.
Yeah. What was your profit in September? Did you do an analysis on it?
Well, I cashed out $1,400 from StarStock, and my balance is up to almost $400 now. Plus valued at a lot more than that, and that's not even including my ComC sales. Which the ComC sales were pretty decent. There's a couple $100 worth of sales there, and we're just raw cards.
Yeah.
But all of those, I mean, it was a 300-400 in a lot of cases on the StarStock sales. We're talking 2,000% return on my investment from the card value. So like I estimated that the investment to get roughly $2,000 was around $400 to $500.
Yeah, that's great.
Total. Maybe less.
Well, with you, what I'm thinking about is like if you only stay with football, which is obviously the only sport you really, really like. The off season for you is going to be pretty damn long, because football off season is long. But man, what about you do your research very early and then you stock up like crazy in those first few months, like thousands and thousands of dollars or whatever your max is in March, April, May, June, try and get it really low and then just stock up for the whole preseason and first few weeks or something, like a bear eating all the food and hibernating during winter, but that of cards.
No, for sure, man. And it's kind of broken up. Super Bowl's at the end of January, beginning of February, and then we got the draft in April, but then from that period of April to September, I'm just going to be like a bear in wintertime, and stock up.
Yeah, man.
Stock up. Do my research. Research will be already ready because
Well, here's what I've learned. This is what I've learned. Biggest learning lesson about the world, especially this country, especially society. Most people are lazy and impatient, and it's great because if people are too lazy to not do all the research and they're too impatient to not buy cards months and months ahead of time, all you have to do is be a bit more patient, a bit more hardworking, and you'll be fine. And that's why I feel like, man, I see the prices now are so low on basketball, and knowing the different sports and being able to be just a bit more patient and a bit more ahead of time, ahead of others, it's just an easy advantage. It's just like a simple advantage, because for you to do the research in March, April, May, and by then versus someone that's doing the same research because not much has changed in July and August means that you're going to get those cards for half of what they're going to pay, and they might think they're early, but they're somewhat early compared to like the really late people. But then you're just there buying the cards for $50 or $100 or whatever scale you want to be at, while they're going to be paying $250 or $300. So that's where my mind is coming in, because I'm already seeing that right now with everyone's minds and attention going elsewhere, where I'm looking at basketball for December or January.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude, I can't wait to scale up next summer and just get ready and just like accept all these offers. Like if I like go back in hindsight, back in September, I would have accepted a lot more offers. And that's what I was telling people, like, look, I sold all my Drew Locks. I sold a bunch of my Tyreek. I sold almost all my Tyreek Hills, almost all my Allen Robinsons. Then I got more because Beckett like sent me a mystery package out of it. But I was like, if I go back like next year, just scale up the solution and just wait for September till the floodgates open, because nobody's torn their ACL. It's all off of projections. It's all hype.
That's the beauty of it, is literally you just hope they don't get a DUI or beat their girlfriend in the off season. It's like, as long as you don't do something really stupid in the off season, the articles are going to be there. Look how much better you look this year, and you're healed from that injury. And no one's like, dude, you look like a piece of shit in training camp. Like, they minimize that stuff. Usually it's articles and headlines about how players are ready and, this year is different and blah, 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 blah. The local news obviously wants to put that kind of stuff out, but that's the easiest, because like only a couple guys like Josh Allen and whatnot have surprised people in a good way. Most people are what they've expected or worse. It seems like everyone's pretty much on par, then injuries, and then it's like, you're not good because your wide receivers down, your running backs down, the line's not performing, whatever. But before the preseason begins, it's anything's a possibility. You could be 16-0, and you could go 16-0, and you could break this record. And I mean, I remember hearing all the possibilities are endless. Before you actually play the game.
Everybody's going up.
Yeah,
everybody's going up.
I saw Anthony's comment here about Logan Paul.
What's up, Malone? What's up, Anthony?
And yeah, Shelly, exactly. That's it. I'm waiting for a pick of Zion where he's thin, where he's just shed 20 pounds. People are going to go crazy. But with
I really don't know who Logan Paul is. I really don't.
Know who Logan Paul is? Because
I may lose some subscribers.
He's a big social media celebrity. He was one of those Vine stars that exploded and then I think translated over to Instagram and YouTube and whatnot. But I've
heard of David Dobrik. He did that, right?
I don't know who that is, but this guy.
I don't know who that is. That dude's really famous.
I don't know. Either way, Logan Paul,
buddy.
He's what?
I saw him do a collaboration with Casey Neistat, but David Dobrik, he was really famous doing from doing Vines, and then he moved over to YouTube and stuff like that. But you're saying Logan Paul pretty much the same? He's like a YouTube celebrity?
Yeah, YouTube guy. I think he's around 26, 28. Young guy, good-looking dude, really ripped, but just he's huge on social media. I mean, like one of these top social media dudes, multimillionaire now. But so apparently he's breaking $165,000 blaster box tomorrow.
That same blaster box that we were buying when we were 13 for 50
Like
bucks.
40 bucks. Yeah.
40 bucks.
At Walgreens. Well,
Dear
what's
God.
interesting is, yeah, he had an article, or I saw him saying that he's investing $200,000 in Pokemon cards. And dude, that's the crazy thing. When I go to that coffee breaker's place and I see that they have a whole camera set up for breaking, and you could buy in there.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's owned by Steve Aoki and DJ Skeet. And I'm like, you're going to have celebrities in there. It's becoming cooler by celebrities or pseudo celebrities, people in that realm that have big influence, because a lot of those people with big influence on social media and athletes, they tune in to Gary Vee. They're the ones that are getting a lot of their stuff from Gary Vee. So if Gary Vee's saying get into sports cards and they listen and they turn it into content, I think that's the cool thing. Is Logan Paul's going, all right, well, I don't know what I'm going to get out of this, but I'm going to get a lot of viewers, and that's going to translate to money. And so there's multiple ways of turning this actual investment into multiple streams of income. And so that's why I'm like, dude, we have not seen it mainstream. We've seen it in this level where it's underground, on the tipping point, on the fringe of going mainstream. But there are a lot of people that know about sports that don't know sports cards exist, especially in other countries and whatnot. But then, on my channel, I'm getting comments, hey, greetings from England, greetings from Australia, greetings from Costa Rica. And I'm like, holy shit, y'all collect cards? I thought this was just an American thing, except for soccer cards. And so I don't think we're even close to the level it's at. But at the same time, I don't know if we're going to see that crazy, insane spike the way we did in summer, because that was just like irresponsible.
All that Gary V content finally got Carter. So
Donovan Smith. Dude, Donovan Smith, I don't know what to think of him except his penalties, man. He has nonstop penalties. It's just literally holding after holding after holding. So, I mean, there's a lot of conversations here in the chat.
Oh yeah, it's all good, man. And we're on the we're right on the cusp. We're in a really good spot, all of us here and everybody in our communities, because we're in it early. I mean,
and yeah, to follow up what Carter says, it was Gary Vee content finally got to you. Remember, in marketing, they say it takes about 7 touch points before a message actually reaches someone. So imagine the people that have heard about sports cards from Gary Vee 3 times, 4 times, but then the 6th or 7th or 8th time they hear it, then they finally look into it. And then a friend of them mentions it a week later, and then they go all in, because it wasn't the first time I heard about sports cards from Gary that I looked into it. I remember thinking, oh, sports cards, I used to love that as a kid, blah, 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 blah. Hear it again. Sports cards are really exploding. Okay, all right. A 3rd time, a 4th time. So I bet a lot of people out there are waiting for that 5th touch point, 6th touch point to go, okay, let me really look into this. And it might be one of those card shops that open up, that they walk by and go, holy shit, this is real. And this is way cooler than I remember. So, but yeah, we're in early. So go on.
I'll let you read Brad's comment.
Oh, yeah, Ashton. I worked with her doing auto shows for Genesis. Ashton Shane, yeah. She has a hilarious sense of humor. She's like one of the dudes, like a lot of super inappropriate jokes. So yeah, and she moved from LA to Chicago a couple of years ago. That's hilarious. I actually, who's funny? You live in Chicago now, which makes sense. Chris from House of Jordans, or the founder of Card Ladder, I was texting with him, and he is making a move to Chicago right now. So that's an interesting transition. So just keep that in mind. And I want to have him on in a couple weeks on my live stream. But Card Ladder, everyone knows the data tool. But he's moving to Chicago.
I said Chicago's nice, man. I've been there. It's a nice spot.
It
just depends on what borough you go to. Like, there's parts of it you don't want to go to.
Not Joe Burrow.
Not Joe Burrow, like a Burrow.
Yeah,
Spelled different.
yeah, she's cool. She's funny. But one thing with Chicago, I've been there. I spent a month in Chicago years ago, and then I think 2 weeks another time. I can't deal with cold weather, but I will say, compared to New York, Chicago is a million times better in terms of livable. Man, nicer people, 1,000 times cleaner, more affordable, spaced out, good layout, just way better. It's New York light. That's how I consider it. Like Miller Lights, Chicago, New York light. Yeah, man. Awesome pizza, too. There was a guy, what's his name? Marcus Leonis, who's on that show. What show is that? Marcus Leonis, he The Prophet. So he consults with businesses on, I think it's MSNBC. That's his thing. And I remember driving in Chicago and looking over, and he was standing there outside of this really nice hotel. But that's as cool of a story as I have for Chicago. All right, so Andy, what are you looking forward to this weekend? Any matchups that are on your mind, on your radar? Do you know any now that the Bucs game's over and I don't need to even watch football at this point?
Spent so much mental energy on that Bucs game. I started preparing for my matchups this weekend, I'll be happy whenever this COVID scare goes away for Tennessee. Big games this weekend though. I'll be happy to see the Steelers play again for sure. You got some crappy matchups. Like DeAndre Hopkins is hurt on Arizona. That's definitely impacted their performance. They lost last week because of that. The Chiefs are playing the Raiders. I think the Chiefs, like, their defenses looks legit. Like, I could see the Chiefs going undefeated this year, dude. And if that happens, like, it's gonna be really tough. But it's gonna come down to the Chiefs and Seahawks. I mean, at this point,
what's and Shelly, are you in Florida? You said there's a card show in Clearwater, which I know about. I went to once. I don't know you're in Florida. If you are. What's the Sunday night game? What's the Sunday night and what's the Monday night?
Okay, well, Sunday night game is the Vikings at the Seahawks. That shouldn't be much of a challenge. That actually should be a shootout because the Vikings defense is terrible. The Seahawks defense can definitely be had. And that game should be a shootout for sure.
Have to watch the
Falcons will throw it, dude. And Dalvin Cook he's a really good running back. And
I got to see how the Falcons will lose it again this week. That is the storyline. How will they lose it in the fourth quarter?
This is a week where if they don't win this week, dude, Dan Quinn, their head coach, is definitely getting fired. They're playing the Panthers at home. The Panthers defense can be had all day through the air. And Matt Ryan, I think Julio Jones will be back, Calvin Ridley, Russell Gage, Hayden Hurst. No excuses. The Panthers have to win this weekend, or I think Dan Quinn is definitely getting fired.
Did you know that there is one state, at least one state, but there's one state where their NFL teams have not won a single game so far? Can you guess which one?
There's one state where New York?
Yeah. The Giants and the Jets. I think they're 0-8, right?
Yeah, well, I know the Giants are 0-4.
Jets are 0-4.
And the Jets, well, I'm not surprised. I think Sam Darnold's hurt now, and Le'Veon Bell's still on IR. I think he may be back this week, and they desperately need him back. But they're playing the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals will steamroll over them. And the Giants are playing the Cowboys at home, and the Cowboys are 1-3. They're coming off a loss to the Browns, which the Browns, that was a shootout. That game was like an 80-point total. Odell Beckham Jr. had a huge game. Baker had a really good game. What?
Yeah, 3 scores for Odell.
Yeah, really good game. And
Malone. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, there's the Bills as well. I forgot that they're even in New York. One city.
Yeah, Buffalo's undefeated, and they're supposed to play Tennessee, but it got postponed to Tuesday now. That would be a good game because Tennessee is undefeated as well, 3-0. If they can ever get rid of COVID, they'll
How
play
is it
again.
that Buffalo has a football team? Like, I don't know. Like, there's certain cities I go, how is it certain cities get teams where I'm like, Buffalo, like, you're not even, it doesn't even seem like you're, then again, they have the Sabres as well. But I don't know. Sometimes I wonder about how certain cities can get a team like Green Bay. Like, how in the world did you swing a football franchise in like Green Bay when you would
So,
think it would have to be a city that can support all that, and yet they do. I don't know, just a
so I
random.
Googled it, Brad. Buffalo has an NFL team because of the vision of Ralph Wilson. He was a founder of the American Football League, and he was a businessman in Detroit.
Which is why he's in Buffalo.
Buffalo, yeah, the vision of Ralph Wilson. He didn't try to establish a franchise in his city to compete with the Lions. Instead, he chose Buffalo, which had successfully hosted a team in the AFC and didn't have any competition from other pro sports. So he's a
bigger question. Why would you want to live in Green Bay? Siri, you don't have an answer for that. Yeah, dude, it's funny how like LA goes from none for so long to 2. I'm like, how in the world do we say, all right, we've had no team for a long time. We're just going to steal 2 teams for us. And the funny thing is, like, LA gets a bad rap. Miami gets a bad rap. There's certain cities that get a bad rap for their fans, like leaving, like coming late and leaving early. And it's because in LA, when things are actually open, and Miami, when things are open, you got like 9,000 other things to do. So in Oklahoma City, everyone gets there 3 hours early and stays 2 hours after the game because, what else are you going to do?
What, dude, if you like cheese and snow and football, then Green Bay is the spot for you, man.
I love all 3 together. That's the thing. I only love my cheese when I'm in the snow watching football. Yeah, I remember seeing that the Packers are the only team that are owned by the fans. It's very strange, but it's pretty cool.
Over Aaron. Yeah, that's true. I mean, we didn't talk a whole lot. But you got to have Aaron Rodgers in that conversation. I mean, they're elite NFC team. I apologize. I keep forgetting to mention that because the Packers are definitely going to be there. It would be interesting to see the Bucs play the Packers next week, and I'm really looking forward to that matchup.
I'm curious about the defense. How are the Packers' defense? Are they solid? Are they average? Are they great?
It's solid at times. They have a very good corner. They have some really good linemen. It's really solid at times, dude, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I mean, they shut Detroit down, but that was before they had Kenny Golladay back, and Detroit looks a lot better now. They got him back. It's like night and day for their offense. A true alpha. That was the other guy that's like, dude, these 30-plus-year-old wide receivers are just been dust, dude. Marvin Jones Jr. in Detroit, AJ Green. I don't know if they're gonna. I mean, I don't know if AJ Green's gonna come back, man. Larry Fitzgerald. I mean, they're gonna have to literally, like, Larry. Okay, man, it's time for you to retire. Like,
he's older than me. I know he's older than me.
Oh, Larry Fitzgerald. Yeah, he's like almost Tom Brady's age.
Wow, I like him though. He's a very likable guy.
Man,
classy dude.
He takes great care of his body. I mean, look at Frank Gore. Frank Gore's the same way. I mean, it's unbelievable. Frank Gore, 37 years old, still playing the position of running back in the NFL.
Dude, the amount of hits, concussions, bruises, everything.
Guy takes a hit well. You know? So when you like your sport, that's it, man. They just got that pad. They they probably don't know what to do with themselves if they didn't play football anymore. And they probably had, honestly, that's what they should do is they should go start. Yeah, but see, that's the thing. They want to play, man. They want to get out there and play. They don't want to coach.
Well, when you give it up, it's done. And it's the only thing you've known since you were probably 6 years old, the only thing you've worked towards, and your identity is also wrapped up in this role. So the idea of giving it up and then starting mentally over and emotionally over, dude, who are you? I mean, when you retire from the only thing you've known since you were 6 years old or whatever age that you've worked towards, and you're starting a new life at 30, 35 years old, where do you even begin? And I think that's why a lot of athletes go through that depression, that post-career depression, because your identity is this player. That's all you've known or worked towards. So you have to reset everything that you've ever identified with and start a new chapter. I don't think it's that easy.
Yeah.
Why would you let it go before you have to, just because when it's over, you're still only 30 to 40, 43 years old, and then the rest of your life's there. Plus, you're not going to make any more money in anything else unless you've used that money to start a business or do something else. 99% chance, whatever you do next, it's going to be lower paying. So why give it up before you have to, unless it's some sort of like head injury or something serious like that? Dude, I hope not. I hope vitamin water is in.
So that's like you, Brad. I mean, and me too. But I have kids and they got a lot of stuff going on. But I mean, what would you do if you just all of a sudden shut down the YouTube channel? No more.
Well, it would suck because I do a lot of work, but at the same time, this is only 6 months, so not 32 years or so.
No, I know.
But I mean, yeah, you have to reinvent yourself a lot. You try things in life, it works out for a bit, then you hate it, then you try something else, and I don't know what I'd do. It would be pretty much like try and find the next thing, but yeah, I mean, but I think that's the point.
You can't imagine a world where you don't create sports card related content anymore.
I don't want to live in that world.
You don't want to live in that world.
I don't want to live in that world. I mean, look, part of it is when you're having fun doing something. So if these guys are having fun playing football at whatever age, the idea of stopping sounds extra scary because you're not just giving up income, you're giving up something that brings you joy. So the question was, if I stopped liking doing this and then wanted to give it up, could I do it? Well, of course, if I didn't enjoy it. So good night, Shelly. I saw that you live in Alabama, so greetings from California. Have a good night.
Peace. Actually, I gotta go to bed. I gotta go to bed too.
Like 1 o'clock where you're at. I'm like, it's 10 o'clock here. It's getting pretty late for me on the West Coast.
Yeah. Dude, it's that Gary V lifestyle hustle, bro. How do you think I get so much done? I don't know, man. I love my 9 hours, 8 to 9 hours every night. I can't do this. I got my blue light blocking glasses on now just to ensure that I'm not absorbing the blue light from the screen so I could sleep extra good at night. So, why do you think Elon Musk is so successful, Brad?
Elon Musk looks like he has plastic surgery. I don't know if that's his face or not, but I'm like, what's wrong with it? He kind of looks like a John Travolta with extra plastic surgery. And I'm like, what's going on there? But I like Elon.
It's that Philippine heritage.
Is he?
Dude, he's in close with a lot of these super advanced technology companies. He could have gotten into some type of age regression machine. Or age
I thought you were gonna go and spin it to he's gonna get into some sort of like high tech card grading, like Tesla card grading. Like, yeah, that would be insane. But okay,
that'd be awesome if I had like a gun that I could just like think about like
a scanner gun.
Yeah, a scanner gun that actually was like it would grade your card and put a case on it at the same time.
Reads all 360 degrees, every little thing, just like a Yeah, you scan every side. You put it in, and maybe it just scans 360 everything. Boom, here's your grade slab, and it's a 2-minute process. That'd be amazing.
Boom. Boom.
All right, man.
Well, appreciate you guys joining us. Brad, congratulations on your Chicago Bears 4-1. It's never going to happen again.
Yeah. This is only going to fuel Tom Brady and the Buccaneers to be.
It's only going to fuel it. Yeah, he's fired up. Brad, you watch out for that wild card game at the end of the season. We're coming for you. Well, actually, I guess we would have. Maybe we might. Hey, we might see the Bears in the playoffs.
Who knows? It's still early in the year. It's still very early.
The Seattle gets the first round bye. I could see us playing the Bears.
And then it'd be a good matchup. I'd love to see the Bucs and the Bears again at the end of the regular season to see where the two teams stack up after a couple more months.
We should get Brad on the live stream.
There we go. Yeah. Maybe after the next Bears game.
Just beat the Packers, please. I'm going to try and beat the Packers.
Yeah, we'll try. Dude, I mean, that's a scary. I think that's a scarier game for the Bucs than the Bears.
Yeah,
even though the Bears beat us, the Packers, the way that they're rolling on offense, and I don't know about the Bucs defense. It's because it's so great against the run, but then they give up pass plays. They give up the yards. So it's not like they're comprehensively great. It's just they have moments. They have the interceptions. They have some sacks. They have some moments, but it's not like I can count on them to limit the Packers to 14 points. Yeah, I would never assume that the Bucs won tonight.
I think the Packers game will be close, but I'm concerned about both sides of the ball right now, to be honest with you.
I think the offense – it's hard to believe that the Bucs offense will struggle for a second straight week. I feel like – and the running game was pretty good.
I'm concerned about Brady, man.
Well, is it Brady or is it the receivers? Because first week without O.J. Howard, who has been pretty damn good. Godwin.
Cameron Brate is pretty much just as good as O.J. Howard, though.
Okay, Brate was solid. The other tight end dropped a few balls or had a couple bad plays. The newer guy, whatever his name is, Hanson or something. Hannon. I don't know. Do you remember the other tight end? Mike Evans only got a few balls. He looked hobbled
tonight. Well, tonight, I mean, yeah. Right now, our concerns are a combination between that O-line, which impacts everything, and Brady. And I think Brady needs that. He needs Chris Godwin, dude. He needs that guy that is an elite route runner with elite catching and yards after catch ability. Because if you notice, Brady loves to throw these little shallow. And that's what he's been famous for forever. And Arians, they were talking about it tonight. They're trying to open him up, get him, more familiar with the deep ball. But Brady's wheelhouse is those 5 to 10 yard passes.
Yeah, well, I mean, especially at that age when he needs to get the ball out quick. And as a Bucs fan or anyone, he's the best asset you got. You got to make sure he's getting the ball out quickly and he's not going to take a hit. So. I mean, yeah, he needs someone. He needs someone in the slot. He needs that kind of stuff right there. But hopefully we just get our health back. I mean, I think that's the first thing: get the health back, and then the continuity will hopefully get better when Godwin is back, and get some more touches with Cameron Brate in practice, and who else? Mike Evans gets to 100% or close to 100%, and that's about it. I mean, the running game was fine. It's just. It's always like one or two pieces that are not in sync.
No doubt, bro. And that's it. It's gonna go down. The Packers game is gonna be tough game, dude. Tough game.
I wonder if that'll be a Sunday night game. I haven't checked if that's Sunday night or something on prime time.
It could be.
It's worthy of it. Yeah, I mean, Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady is definitely a Sunday night matchup.
Yeah, that's Sunday night caliber quality.
That's it, yeah.
But let's end it here, bro.
All right. Thanks for having me. Andy, thanks to y'all for
Thanks
hopping
for
on, making
thanks for lifting my spirits.
that's it.
After
Even
that
if it's trash
loss.
talk against the Bucs, it's still lifting our spirits.
Win or loss, we still crushing the sports cards.
That's right. All right. Have a good night, y'all.
All right, y'all.